I'm here today to share a story about Cancer season of tarot in real time. I think sometimes it's easier to understand tarot when we hear circumstances and stories and examples of how they apply to our real life. And so I'm going to talk today about a story in Cancer season. You can hear in my voice, I've been battling being sick. And in Cancer season, there is this message about how we nourish ourselves and how we nourish others, how we hold space and fluidity for shifting changes, for shifting seasons, for our different feelings and different states and cycles of our body, and having an ability to hold space for those things within ourselves and to nourish ourselves in that process. What does that look like? What does that feel like? So I want to share in real life a little of my learnings this week. It's been quite a lot of epiphanies and putting practice into action. And so my card that I asked for, where am I at with this? And this is Queen of Pentacles. In getting sick this last week, I wasn't able to hold my appointments with people because Reiki energy work, you just can't do that. So I wasn't able to do appointments. I wasn't able to do some sound baths, my Teach Me Tarot classes, and even had to cancel a big event, this weekend where I was doing a sound bath and multiple Reiki sessions that I've been planning on, and people were depending on me for a long time. So it was a very busy week to be sick. And my inclination is to push through when I get sick. And I'm sharing this because I know a lot of us do that. That is what is expected. We believe that it's expected of us in order to be successful and to carry out our obligations to others. We push ourselves because we feel that is I don't know if it's a sense of obligation or responsibility, or not wanting to let people down, or not letting people see us in a certain light of being vulnerable or not capable of doing things. And so I'm sharing this because I think a lot of us have that programming. And in this experience of having to stand up for myself and say, I'm sorry that I'm not able to do this. I need to be sure that I can rest my body so I don't feel worse. I can feel how there is this instant where I feel a sense of guilt, or I feel bad, or I'm letting people down, and it's bringing this up in me. And so what was beneath the surface of this Queen of Pentacles, which I'll get back to in a second, is judgment. So when we can get sick, sometimes energetically, getting sick is dis-ease, and dis-ease is hyphen ease. So it's a dis-ease in your energetic system. And so, we have these different energy layers of protection emanating out from our body from within, starting within, with our immune systems and our body systems, but also extending out with our emotions and how we're interacting with the world. And our energetic biofield is constantly interacting with the world. And so right now there is so much going on that if you're sensitive at all, if you are of that healer archetype, or if you're an empath in your heart, that you may be interacting with lots of energy that is not yours, but it may be impacting you. So there's a call for energetic hygiene. And one way that we can do that is to begin to release judgment of ourselves when we know that we have to do certain things to protect ourselves, and not worrying about what others may think or how they may respond. If you know that you're doing what's right for you, there is this release of judgment that illness can bring. And also, so I had above and below, and the devil, and a lot of these cards were in reverse. So to me, what this means, if you get a lot of cards in reverse, there is a shifting also, that it can indicate that your relationship and behaviors and patterns around these themes are in a transition or a shift. And a lot of times dis-ease in the body is our body's way of telling us, and the universe's way of telling us, that we need to pause. Either we've been pushing too hard, or we are in a state of expansion, or we're missing signs and missing things that we're not aware of that are coming our way, and we're missing it. So it slows us down to get the attention. And if you're expanding and bringing in new, levels of manifesting things in your life, if you're expanding into, that new job or that new creative outlet, and you're really expanding, in, or building a family or getting married or any of those things that are, expansive experiences in your life, that also requires space, because when you expand, you have to kind of release what is old, taking up space. So there is this expansion that is happening too sometimes when we are, if we find ourselves in a state of dis-ease. And so this devil, you can see there is, what I think of this is there is a liberation of judgment. And when you look at this devil card, if you have, that religious background, you may instantly think the devil bad, right? I'm bad. This is bad. This is good. And so there is this release of some of our attachments and judgments that we have about caring for ourselves, the attachments and judgments we may have to disappointing others and how we look, to the outside world, attachments to shame, for having to pause and care for ourselves. And so that's below and above. And I want to share something positive. I also asked about body, mind, and soul. So I'll ask where I am, body, mind, and soul, what's beneath, what's above. And I also pulled a card for interpersonal relationships, because when you stand up for yourself to put boundaries, to say no to things that you would otherwise be saying yes to, you may ruffle feathers. And so in my body, this 10 of Pentacles, it was so beautiful. When I was with my daughter Rose yesterday, and I'm sharing this because I want you to really see yourself in these shoes. When you pull the 10 of Pentacles, what is this? A 10 is a number of opportunities with a 0, and then 1 is activation. And Pentacles, this is our real life physical world. It can also be our real life physical body. So, and it is earth energy. It is slower. And it's our relationship with abundance, sometimes money. And so with the 10 of Pentacles, there is this shifting in, normally when we're not feeling good, we may find ourselves, in bed, if maybe you watch TV, or maybe you're scrolling on your phone, or you're, separated from the family. But I chose, excuse me, to go up to my daughter's room, and we were actually pulling some cards together and just talking about our dreams and sharing, where we saw ourselves, and really getting to know my daughter on a different level that I don't always have I haven't always had the time lately. And I was so grateful in this time where I'm being forced to not be able to go out and do things that I would normally be doing, that I am able to be with my daughter in this new way and learn and to have her reflect, back to me, just this sense of peace and beauty and joy in the midst of not feeling good, and the connection that because of rather than using energy, doing my own thing in my own room, when we're together, it's like it's that truly filling your cup up, right? In this Cancer season, it's like, how do you fill up your own cup? And our relationships can help do that. And so that's what I found with that 10 of Pentacles. And, the 5 of Pentacles was for the mind. And what I learned, with this, our relationship with being sick is, thinking that we can't, we do not have the option to not do that, that thing that we're responsible for. When I cancel on that sound bath, and where I have to rely on my friend who we're going to do it together, for her to do it by herself, and thinking that, there's these ways that we can't. But when you actually are able to say no to some of the things that maybe you normally fear, that if I say no, I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose those customers, I'm going to lose those clients, I'm going to lose those things that are important to me, that actually, are you? What I learned is no, you're not going to. It's kind of your own, we set these high bars for ourselves sometimes. And I know I'm speaking to people who relate to this. That's what this is for. So if you're setting high bars for yourself, or you're so independent, that there is this, you might not be as trapped as you think. Pentacles is our resources. And also the beauty of friendships that I have in showing me that when I drop the ball, so that's what it feels like, that I'm not able to hold up my end of things for a brief moment, that they are there to hold them for me. And I know that in my heart that I'm always there for that same thing for them. And so it's kind of this, sometimes in this dis-ease, when you allow yourself to rely on others, there's this beautiful shift of this. If you get this Five of Pentacles, where she feels kind of trapped, and you can see she's got a key there, but she's not even looking up to open her own door. You know, it's being aware of some of the resources that we have, that we're not really as trapped as we may think. And lastly, you know, for my soul was 10 of Wands. When we get sick, it's reminding us of the things that drain our energy, or the things that we think we are supposed to hold, or we've been holding, that she cannot keep going on this journey unless she gets rid of some of this baggage. So, you know, for me, there is that, and I'm saying this for all of us, that I think there is some of this, sometimes places of guilt, or having to defend or explain ourselves, or, you know, all after you do put up a boundary and say, I'm not available for that, do you replay in your head, oh, now they're saying this, or now I should have done this, or maybe they're thinking this, and that this is what's time to go in the soul's message, is that you're in self-care in this season of Cancer, and nourishing yourself and being able to nourish others. You cannot hold that energy. You cannot hold that energy of those thoughts and those looking backwards. Okay. Lastly, interpersonal is strength. And I love this. I'm a Leo. This is my card. And that strength, you know, is in the heart. This is a heart card. And our heart is in its natural state. It is always giving and receiving. It does not know boundaries. You know, we put boundaries in our heart when we are hurt in our experiences, or we think we need to protect ourselves from something. And so with this strength, I think there is this a reminder that when you do put up boundaries sometimes, and maybe do things that are unexpected of you, out of self-care for yourself, that you will maybe you may ruffle feathers of people who are not expecting that, or who are not used to it, and it may require some strength in just not going down that rabbit hole of, you know, of being self-critical of yourself when you put up those boundaries, when people are not responding in an open way. And those people who are not responding in an open way probably need to do that for themselves. And also that if they, you know, that if there's a judgment of you, they're really judging themselves. Just want to share that. So I hope that this is helpful if you find dis-ease in your body at any time, and kind of sharing this real-time story of how these cards may play out for you, especially in this Cancer season, with our protective shells that we put around ourselves, and people poke our tender spots. So I hope that this is helpful.